The question is, how many hours a day should I expect you to study? I know what my answer is. What's your answer?
Okay, I'm going to start because I'm kind of a procrastinator, and I think that question can't be answered because I think it really depends on the person. Because I don't, it was like Steven said earlier, that slowly, I guess at the beginning of the program you start off, because you learn a little bit of study skills and your teachers are always like, yeah, you should study, but you don't really know what to do, and as you go through it, you become more and more efficient. And so it's a lot of time. It is. And like I said before, academics has got to be, you love academics, and if you can handle it, then it's going to be a lot of time, but the time is worth it. And as you become more and more efficient, the time is lessened and lessened. And so I guess it also depends on how you study personally.
So I'm sure they're saying, okay, Cass, does that mean you study for 12 hours a day? Or does that mean you study for 2 hours a day?
I think personally, it varied between, I guess it's depending on the workload and whether or not teachers would schedule tests on the same day or not. I think it varied probably between maybe a 3-hour minimum to when it got towards the actual test, I was studying for probably 4 hours every couple of days to study for the test. So it's pretty, it's not heavy, but it's a lot of work. So.
Okay, so let's hear from people who didn't study that same amount of time. Because what Cass did tell you is that this is totally true. This 100% depends on who you are, how you study. When we had the seniors up here earlier, I had people saying everywhere from, oh, I studied for 1 hour a night, and all friends going, really? How did you accomplish that? Up to 2 to 3 hours, sometimes 4. So it's huge difference.
Yeah. As far as, okay, so most of our time spent studying is really taken up by homework. And so there comes a few times each year, a week or so period, where you have every single thing due in every single class at one point. And so during those periods of times, the weeks leading up to that, you're spending every waking hour and not waking hour working on those projects and trying to get everything done. And those weeks are really, really intense, and that's, you put in every hour possible. But
there would also be the weeks that you've known about all the projects for 2 months. However, you decided to wait and study for them all during the same week. Okay, so yeah. Yeah, that's okay. That happens. They're teenagers. We know that happens.
Yeah. So you'll suffer for a few weeks, but generally overall, though, day-to-day homework, I would say you don't really have that much. It's all about long-term projects and all about scheduling long-term and dividing it up and getting it done ahead of time, which few of us did. Kayla did. Kayla also wrote her paper in French. So. But yeah, so as far as day-to-day homework, not that much, but it's all about planning for the long term.
I would definitely agree that it's all about how the student individually works, because we've all basically admitted to, we all procrastinated very much except for Kayla. And and I feel in the beginning people don't really understand just how different IB is from the rest of school, high school and middle school. It's a lot more like college, where Taylor said, it's more long-term projects, and there's not really a lot of busy work take home this worksheet and do it tonight and it's due tomorrow. It's more papers, this is due in a couple months, you have this much time to work on it, and that's when we would all, there would be dry spells where it was oh, that's due in a month, I don't have any homework. And then when that was due, we would stay up all night and freak out and go to school crying the next day. And I literally, my best friend would hate me for telling this story, but she used to she would put her papers in Ziploc bags and take them to the inside of her shower and study while she was in the shower. So that's what it gets to sometimes. So it just depends on the student, and it really helps you prepare for college, because that's how it shows you, it forces you to study and to not procrastinate. So.
I'm admitting that I have done that. Anyway, I think it's very important in the beginning of IB, everything is cumulative. From the first grade to the last, it's cumulative. If you don't understand the first part, it's very difficult later to catch up. So I considered my homework to be studying since I analyzed a lot of things, micromanage. So with that, it helped a lot basically to micromanage to a point where you could keep reviewing, which is what the shot was for. Anyway, it's important not to procrastinate, but you don't understand at the time how much time you actually have to spend with it. Yeah, my parents are laughing at me, so.
Well, in terms of studying, I never really had to, study too much. So I was sort of lazy about studying. But when it came to projects, I think one of my major problems was, I procrastinate once and then I'd have, maybe a really tough week. And I was like, oh, that's not due for a while. I deserve a break. So, I had another tough week. I think that's how that really started for me.
I think I've gotten to the Stephen point. That's how the first semester of college felt for me. I had a couple of hard weeks where I actually put in the effort, but by the end of that week, I was able to actually do fun stuff and say, okay, I'm done. So I would go to the basketball game or go to the football game. But on the other hand, if I set aside that time for myself to actually study, then I would just, get it over with. But then I could help my roommate and our friend with his organic chemistry homework and just extra stuff. So.
Thank you for being so honest. Okay, all right, now we have